each. Mic check, 1, 2. What it do? Welcome back to the Mic Check podcast. This is T Word, the People's Champ. Thanks for tapping in. Did you miss me? Even if you didn't, we back in this thing, man. Had to take a little break and recharge the batteries, but we're back at it. We're gonna cover this boxing, basketball, and football. We do have a new NFL season just on the horizon, just over a week away, and of course, we got boxing all year long, and then right behind football season kicking off, we're going to have basketball. And in the meantime, we're going to get into some Team USA. That being said, today's video, as you can see by the graphic on the screen, we're going to talk about Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson and the WBC ordering a match between these guys so we can figure out who's going to be probably the next WBC lightweight champion. Before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate that feedback. All right, guys. So Shakur Stevenson, two-division champion. Frank Martin, early into his career but late age contender. He's kind of got to be fast-tracked to get right to the top of the rankings because he is in his late 20s. Shakur Stevenson is around 25, almost 26. So he's considered fairly young in boxing still at this moment, and he's already very well accomplished. He's a former Olympian, a medalist, and then, a champion at 126 and 130, and he's seeking to do the same at 135. And this is a guy who has the potential to probably even win the belt up to as high as maybe 154, given his current trajectory. So what's intriguing about this fight is I consider Frank Martin he's probably going to be at 135, 140 pretty much all his career. I don't really see him ever going to welterweight. So I think that these guys are going to be circling around each other. And if we could get these guys into a fight, this could really be a great opportunity for boxing to see a couple classics. I like the southpaw versus southpaw matchup. I like the fact that you have a little bit of a height difference. So Shakur, a master of distance control, he's able to stand in the pocket, throw punches and trade with you and really avoid your shots. But I also like the fact that Frank Martin, when he's on the front foot, he could get to where he needs to be. And it's not like I'm not going to say his mentor, his actual promoter, who's Errol Spence Jr., who has a different type of pressure. Frank Martin's pressure is a little bit more slick, more akin to something like Tank Davis, which is another fight I'd like to see Frank Martin in because of the style similarities. But that said, against Shakur Stevenson, I just like how the dynamics of this fight on paper look like we're going to have a nice classic fight. Now, that being out there, there's also a probability that Shakur Stevenson could blow him out. And that wouldn't surprise anybody, I don't think. I think very highly of Shakur, and I think the one person at or around 135, besides maybe Gary Antoine Russell at 140, everybody at 135, the only one who I believe really just on paper gives him problems is Gervonta Davis. And I think that even if Tank has a hard time catching him, the thing with Tank is he don't need to catch you a lot. But if he catch you with the right one, he can sleep you. And we haven't seen Shakur's chin tested. So to me, that's the guy I think gives him the most trouble. Now, because of the similarities with Frank Martin, I give him a little bit better shot than I give other people at 135. But I kind of, at the moment, I'd have to favor Shakur without truly studying the situation. But I think that Frank can make it very competitive. And if it's a competitive loss, there's an opportunity for them to fight again because they're both going to be chasing the same belts, even though eventually I feel like Shakur is going to move on to 140 and then eventually 147, where he's going to be trying to catch Devin Haney. The long and short of it to me is I like what boxing is doing lately, where these fights are getting ordered and they're actually being executed. I wish we could get the heavyweight division kick-started so we could see some classic big guy fights and not just the smaller divisions fighting. Now, on the other hand, this is good for boxing to see the smaller divisions getting shine and getting opportunities for, the 130s, the 135s, the 122s, the 118s. They're getting the spotlight because the heavyweights have taken the back seat and not really put on great performances. So you're getting to find out about so many different boxers. Even 154 is starting to become a pretty deep division again. So I like where boxing is going. I like this fight for boxing. I like this fight for both fighters because Shakur gets to continue to fight the better competition in the division, and Frank Martin gets to test his mettle against somebody that is considered the elite in his division. One last thing I want to throw out there. Shakur's coming off a sensational knockout of his 135 debut. He stopped Yoshino, and Frank Martin is coming off a rough performance where he didn't get really to his opponent until the end of the fight, and he had to rally to win a very close decision. So it's going to be interesting to see where the confidence level is for Frank Martin going into this one, and where the confidence level is for Shakur Stevenson, and if either guy is looking past the other, because there are bigger fish than either within the division and right next to it. So we'd love to get you guys' thoughts. Happy to be back. Did you miss me? Doesn't matter. I'm back. But drop your thoughts down in the comments. This has been T for the Mic Check Podcast. Until the next time I'm out. Peace, y'all.